Do you even know which city you're in at this point?
No, not really.
So it's going to be, what, 5 different cities plus layovers in the middle of all this? In like a week?
Yeah, yeah, five or six maybe, including the layovers.
Yeah. Do you know what time it is right now?
So I have a smartwatch on, but I tethered it to another phone that I'm not using anymore. So currently it's giving me New York time.
Sweet.
So no, I don't actually know what time it is.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're live here with us. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we talk about the trending tech topics of the day, and we have a lot to get to today. But I want to emphasize this. We are broadcasting live right now. We're live across a number of different platforms. We're on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of those. But also today, right now, we are live on LinkedIn. And so hello to that audience on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us. LinkedIn Live, Digital Trends is really, really happy to be a part of that. And so here's how it works. You can drop in your comments and questions and bring those to us. You can talk to us. We will talk back. We will answer those comments as you bring them in here. And there's going to be a lot that I think you're going to want to talk about today. So thank you so much for joining us on that, live on LinkedIn. I want to run down just really quick because we have so much to get to today. Today on the show, joining us in just a little bit, we're going to have Douglas Rushkoff. Douglas Rushkoff is the author of a book called Team Human. So we're going to have Douglas on here along with our emerging technologies editor, Drew Prindle. We've got Samantha Persia Hancock, who you may know her as a commentator on fighting game community games, different things along with those lines. She's got a great thing called the XO Academy that's basically encouraging women gamers, female gamers, which is really cool. So we're going to have her run down all of that she's doing. We've got the team from Nike is going to be in here with the Adapt BB, the self-lacing shoes. We're going to have those shoes in here. We're going to run through the tech on how they work, kind of talk about where they're at right now, where they see these going. We will have the shoes live here in studio, taking your questions and comments all through that. But right now, I'm Greg Nibbler, and I am joined by Julian Trocatu, our mobile editor here at Digital Trends. Hello, Julian.
Hello.
So we referenced the fact that you have been all over the place. This is going to be a big week for you. So you're based out of our New York studio.
Yep.
Our New York office. I guess I just refer to everything as the studios. There's things other than the studio there. So you're based out of the New York office. You were in San Francisco yesterday for the big Samsung Unpacked event.
Yes.
Now you're up here in Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Then you go back to New York.
Yep.
And then you go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
The Mobile World Congress.
Hours later, yeah.
That's crazy. So that's why I was referencing how he probably has no idea what time or where he's at anymore.
No. Yep.
But we are excited that you're here for a number of reasons. But you have here the star of the show yesterday, one of the stars, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, live in studio, live here with us right now. I got to take a look at it just really briefly before we went live with this. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's difficult not to like it, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, phones, you just have everything that you could sort of expect or want from a phone. And it sort of over the past year of phones, you look at all these other phones from Huawei, LG, and then you suddenly look at this and then, you're like, oh, well, this has everything that all of those phones had. The LG V40 came with a triple camera setup with an ultra-wide standard telephoto.
Yep.
This is that. The Huawei Mate 20 Pro came out with a feature called reverse wireless charging. This has wireless power share, which I can show you if you want. Basically, I can charge this iPhone XS Max.
Yeah, so just to compare it here too, we have an iPhone XS Max and the new Galaxy S10 Plus, both here in studio. So if you have questions, please get those in there, and we'll try to answer those. But yeah, so you can charge an iPhone with the Galaxy S10.
You can charge any Qi-enabled product. So basically, I don't know if you can see it really, but there's a setting in the menu right here called wireless power share, and all you need to do is tap that. Then you get this little option to sort of just put this down, and now this one supports the iPhone XS supports Qi wireless charging. So as soon as you put it down, and there you go. It's charging.
So it's charging the other phone.
Yeah. So it's taking power from the S10 Plus and powering this. And of course, the Galaxy Buds, which Samsung also came out with, announced yesterday. You could basically pop that on there, and it'll charge the case, which charges the buds in there. So if you're ever running out of juice in your earbuds on a flight or something like that, this is a great way to sort of bring that back.
And I should say, so direct from San Francisco, direct from the event, we also have the Galaxy Buds here with us too, and we'll kind of be getting a little more in depth with these here at some point. But Parker Hall, who was in here yesterday, he has already reviewed these. He's already listened to them, and he said he really liked the Buds. As far as how they fit, he said they have one of the best, I think he said the best fit of any earbuds that he's tried, which is saying a lot because he's tried them all.
Yeah.
And he said they come in a little bit cheaper. They're like $20 cheaper than the AirPods, which we also have the AirPods here. They're a little bit more. A couple of the highlights he tried to tell me here before we went on air was it's also IPX2, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting that wrong. But anyway, a little more waterproof than what the other ones are. So definitely some advantages there with the Galaxy Buds. But we'll get into that at some point. Let's talk some more about this.
Yes.
S10.
So
first impressions, like the biggest things you saw.
So I mean, I guess as a quick recap, they announced three. Well, okay, so they announced five phones actually. Three actually you can pre-order them now. The Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, and a new phone called the Galaxy S10e, which is meant to be. You know, I wrote an article on that went up yesterday saying the S10e is essentially the same strategy that Apple did with the iPhone XR. You know, they're both $750.
Yeah,
both come in
same
a
price.
bright yellow color.
Yeah.
Both have feature parity in that they run the same processor as the more expensive phones, but they all lack a camera from the other expensive phones as well.
Right. So they only have two phones on the S10e.
The two cameras on the S10e.
Two cameras, excuse me. Yeah.
Triple
two
camera
cameras.
on the other two. iPhone XS has one camera, or two cameras, and then the iPhone XR has one camera. So very similar sort of play by Samsung there. And I mean, you know, it still comes a little more expensive than the Galaxy S9 from last year, but I'm glad that there is a cheaper option, that they decided to do something to address the fact that, hey, maybe no one wants to spend this phone comes in at $1,000.
And $1,000, you know, I feel like that's becoming the new norm for the top end phone.
Right.
Yeah, and then upgrade from there. You can even upgrade on top of that.
Yeah. So well, let's then jump into the Galaxy S10 5G, which we don't know the price yet, but I can't imagine it's going to cost $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the real sort of star of the show, which was nowhere to be found yesterday, was the Galaxy Fold. So that's the first, well, okay, I can't say first foldable phone.
Yeah, the Royal Flex Pi.
Yeah, but there's a lot of caveats for that. So
first,
we'll say
major manufacturer.
We'll say first polished. I don't know if that's appropriate to say.
Fair enough.
But let's just say that. And I mean, you know, from what I saw, it looks really cool. Like it's just something that like you really want when you sort of see it. There are a lot of questions like the thickness. Like, can you imagine sliding that into your pants and feeling comfortable? Or I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was noticing to it. I mean, did you get to get hands-on with it?
No, so that's, you know, what a lot of people thought they would be going all the way there to get some hands-on with that, but sadly it wasn't there. Maybe MWC, who knows? So.
Right. So is Samsung going to be at, I guess they'll be at
yeah, I believe they'll have a booth presence, but there's no press conference.
So that's interesting to me that they go through all of this to have this press conference and announce it, but then the actual press doesn't get to get.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were thinking, you know, we're having this huge commemorative event. Let's just do it there, and maybe the product's not ready. It is coming out in sometime in April, I believe. Yeah. But again, that one is the cost is going to blow everyone's mind away. It's I believe $1,980, I think it is. Yeah. $1,980. So,
I mean, that's a very select audience, I think.
I mean, it makes sense. It's essentially two phones slapped together in one. So when you multiply this, it's 2,000. So I mean, maybe you're getting a discount.
You got two batteries. It does have two batteries in it.
Exactly.
And we've got all the details about that too at digitaltrends.com. Everything that went on yesterday, there's huge write-ups about this. But seeing this and having the actual phone in our hands right now, I think is really interesting. Anything else that's stood out for you?
I mean, I have a couple of
a short time, but
but enough to sort of form early opinion. There is face unlock, even though it's not secure. Works pretty well, but it's hard to see. But this is the hole punch camera. That's the new display that they have. So it's a floating camera at the top there. And what's cool is that, you know, I didn't particularly care about the notch. Like, I didn't like it, but it didn't drive me crazy like a lot of people did.
For some people, the notch is the biggest deal ever.
Yeah, and for example,
it doesn't matter how good it is. If there's a notch,
for reference, the notch is that little sort of thing there at the top of the screen that carries the selfie camera. So this phone doesn't really do that. It has that hole punch camera instead. I think it's a lot more elegant. It looks nicer, and they also do these neat little features where they highlight that the circle around it when it's trying to recognize your face, or when you turn on the selfie camera. So it's a nice little accent. Something. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're getting that massive 6.4-inch display. It looks great. It's just it's just so nice looking at it, you know, watching movies.
It's a nice looking phone. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they both are. Again, this is the iPhone
XS Max.
10s Max. Yes, thank you. 10s Max, and then the S10 Plus.
And so the other cool thing about this phone is the in-display fingerprint sensor, which is basically embedded underneath the screen, so there's no more fingerprint sensor on the back.
Which is something they've been trying to do for a long time.
Yeah, and we have phones with the in-display fingerprint sensors that this is one of the first we're seeing that has an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, so it's a different technology.
Okay.
I've used the OnePlus 6T, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. All those phones have different technology with their in-display fingerprint sensor, and I hated them.
Yeah.
Like, it just never worked. It frustrated like crazy. This one, I'm happy to say, is like one of the first I really haven't had any issues with. As soon as you just pop your finger right there, the phone, I can't see it right there. We go.
Right.
And there you go. It
so
sort
it
of
works
just unlocks
really smooth.
immediately. So that's another cool thing about it. And of course, this has a 4100 milliamp hour battery, which is a pretty big bump from last year. And I feel like that's one thing everyone's constantly complaining about, battery life.
Right. Battery life seems like something that's really hasn't advanced a lot.
Right. And to be fair, it hasn't too much. It's just a bigger cell here. But I will say that I've been using this since what? 2:30 a.m. nonstop. Like, I haven't picked up my laptop or anything.
Who knows what time zone that is? But.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what time zone that is, but it's at 50% now, and I feel like another phone that I've been using, the Pixel 3, would probably be dead by now, or if at 20%, something like that. So that's pretty nice. Pretty great battery life. And also, one thing I think people are gonna like is that this has a headphone jack.
I was just gonna say, I made a note of that. Like, they didn't get rid of the headphone jack.
Yeah. So
even though it's coming, with the Galaxy Buds, I think for some pre-orders, I believe you get those thrown in. Still kept the headphone jack.
I mean, it's only LG and Samsung, I think, at this point that are keeping that, and I feel like that's it's gonna go away. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to do it. I don't know why.
Think maybe this is the last generation.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this was supposed to usher in a new generation of Galaxy phones. So if then it would have made sense to sort of cut it here, but they kept it here. So maybe they really think they'll just keep it forever.
Taking a look here on LinkedIn, because we're broadcasting live on LinkedIn. Matt just said, who is the target market for this type of phone?
So there's the S10e, which is going to be for people who just want a phone that they don't want to spend too much, but they want a good phone. They want some cool features. That's the target. That's $750.
Right.
S10 is for slightly more of a power user, but maybe not so much. They just want the flagship series of a phone range, but they don't necessarily want to spend that much. Yeah. And then the S10 Plus is like, I want everything.
That's when you want the whole thing.
I want the extra camera on the front. I want the extra camera on, actually there's no extra camera. I want the extra camera on the front, but you're also getting the bigger battery here. And the other cool thing about the S10 Plus that it has over the others is it has a vapor chamber cooling system. So basically, if you game a lot, this will be able to last a little longer without throttling because the processor is kept cool because of this different type of cooling system. So clearly they're going for that gamer, maybe heavy phone user type person that just needs a big battery, needs a lot of performance, and there's even a 12 gig RAM version of this one for the 512 gigabyte storage one if you don't want the 1 terabyte version. So
and you got to be willing to pay that much because you're getting a lot. You're paying a lot for that.
Right, and to be fair, the 10s Max costs $1,100. This starts at $1,000, so you're technically a little cheaper than the 10s Max, and you're also getting more storage at 128 gigs, whereas this comes with 64 for starting. So, a
little bit of bonus.
Adjustable, like reasonable pricing, I guess, when you look at Apple. But
if you're looking for the top end,
exactly.
I guess you're getting a little bit more for that. I mean, it sounds like, to me, just based on what you're saying, that they took, okay, you guys did this good, all right, we're going to do that. You did this good, we're going to do that.
Right.
And we're going to put it all into one.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's something to be said, like, they may not necessarily innovate, but it's certainly refining like crazy, and everything in this is so polished, especially the camera. We're still doing a little camera testing here and there, but I don't know if it's going to dethrone the Pixel 3. I don't think so, but that's still, there's something to be said about having such a versatile camera system where I can shoot an ultra-wide photo if I want to.
I do like those different aspects with that,
Right, so, because like the Pixel just has one lens, which only can do so much. Yeah. But this definitely gives you more creativity as a photographer, I think. And there's, HDR10 Plus certified screen, as well as you can capture video in HDR10 Plus, which is pretty crazy. So you're getting literally the best possible video output you can. can in 4K as well. So
it's pretty cool. And this is, again, looking at the S10 Plus here on Digital Trends Live. And we've got, a lot of articles that are already up. Julian's hard at work testing this thing. You're seeing it right now. You're carrying this around as your phone. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the full review when that comes out and getting to check it all out. It's awesome. So, Julian, though, since you're in here, and it's rare that we get you here in Portland, I think you should be here for part of Read 'em and Weep.
Sure.
Read 'em and Weep segment. This is a segment of Digital Trends Live, since we're broadcasting across these different platforms, and we have our articles that go up all the time on all kinds of different things, and we have comments that show up on those articles. It's the internet. Who knew? People comment on things, and we read them. That's the thing we do different here. I think a lot of publications, they may just ignore some of those. We will read all of them, and Jake, our producer here, kind of goes through and selectively grabs a few every day for us to take a look at live while we're broadcasting. I don't see these beforehand. Nobody really does except for him. So we'll go through here and take a look at some of the Read 'em and Weep comments as we're broadcasting through. All right, Juan Rodriguez regarding the Tesla Model S reports for police cruiser duty in California. Doesn't this car drive itself? Watch out, cops. Tesla is coming for your jobs. I do know what you're talking about. There's I can't remember what community in California, but they have a Tesla now on the police staff.
Okay.
Fremont, California. Thank you, producers. Just let me know. So I mean that's cool.
Soon they'll have RoboCop. So.
Yeah, that's I think where we should go to. I think that's absolutely where we should be heading. Yeah, it's the RoboCop aspect of it. I don't know if I want Tesla policing me.
No,
yeah,
for sure. No, that's not a good idea.
I feel like once we all get to live on Mars, then we'll have to deal with our Tesla overlords.
Yes.
And Elon's empire. But right now, I'll let the police officer drive the car. We're okay with that. All right, Juan, thank you for that. And that was from Facebook for that comment, as that one comes through. And again, we're broadcasting live, so this is Logical Fool. Regarding Samsung Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, I don't know who did this review.
So
your nails are longer than the phone. Good video, but geez, please cut those nails, bro.
So I can fill in here. My brother is our freelance videographer in New York, and he likes to let the nails go a bit.
Wait, was that his nails?
Yeah. So I mean, I was in the briefing. I was like, just go ahead and start shooting. So his nails are. His hands are in a bulk of that video, and I sent it to him, and he spent the rest of the day just looking at all the comments and circling.
Oh no!
And I realized I probably shouldn't have sent it to him. So, but I will. I mean, I'm sure he will cut his nails maybe for the next video.
I mean, sometimes you just have to learn the hard way. I'll say I watched the video. I didn't notice the nails myself.
Same. So
I was kind of looking at the phone, but Logical Fool, you were right on that. Good job pointing that out. All right. So bad for you, brother. But it's the internet. People comment. That's just kind of how you have to roll with it. And we do read the comments, so that's proof right there. Wilson, regarding Samsung, just presented the Galaxy Fold at the Unpacked event. If you can't put a cover on it, it's not worth it. That is a good point. As far as
I don't want to see the bill when you break that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Just be extra careful, I guess, if you use that thing.
That's why it's not going to work for me, because I would absolutely drop that thing. I know as soon as I got it, I would make a promise to be extremely careful, and it would take me a week.
Maybe they'll come up with a case that works
something.
With it. I'm sure they can.
Gotta have something.
Yeah.
But then they have to have a foldable case.
Yeah.
That's going to fold around it.
It might just be super bulky.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for us then.
It might not be. Wilson, good point on that. All right, I think we have time for a couple of more, and then I know we'll have to go to a break because we're going to be having our guest here, Douglas Rushkoff, here in just a couple of minutes with our action-packed show. I also see a lot of people on LinkedIn asking about the self-lacing shoes. That's coming up later on today in this episode, so stick right here with us, though. Nike will be here shortly. Olivia Garrett. We're in Andy Boxall, Digital Trends, the Future's Unfolding. See what I did there. So now drivers will have two hands off the wheel while trying to open this monstrosity to read their messages. I'm done buying phones. I'm stopping at the 10. So Olivia's off the wagon.
I'm sure they've come up with a way to use the Galaxy Fold while driving, because it has a screen on the front. So,
it does.
You don't have to open it. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more of a driver issue, because it's not like we don't have a problem with that now.
Right, exactly. I mean, you either way, you shouldn't be doing that anyway, even with a non-foldable phone.
Right. So. Yeah, I don't know if that's really the phone's fault. I think that's more of a user error. All right. Let's go to one more here on Read 'em and Weep, and then we're going to be going to break, and we'll be getting our next guest in here. This is the fun with live. It flies by so fast. Christopher Fielding, regarding this underwater tent, lets scuba divers camp under the sea. Kevin Costner called from Waterworld, and he wants his idea back. Fair enough. I don't think I would ever stay in this thing underwater. I don't care how safe it is. It just, no. No, I'm not going to.
I have a fear of open water, so.
Oh, yeah, then this is your worst nightmare.
Yeah,
yeah, this is absolutely wouldn't work. All right, Christopher, thank you for the comment on there. Julian, thank you so much for being in here.
Thanks for having me.
And Julian will actually be back on the show live from Barcelona on Monday because he continues his crazy journey, the journeys of Julian, across the world, taking a look at mobile technology. Thank you, and you can check out the reviews and everything at digitaltrends.com. We need to go to a break, though, because we have to get our next guest in here. We're going to have Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, and along with him will be Douglas Rushkoff, author of the book Team Human. We've got the book here. We're going to talk about that, and we'll be doing it all live right here with you. So stick around. Back in a second with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us across all the platforms we're on. We love seeing your comments and questions as they come through, and we will answer those, and we will take your questions. We'll absolutely ask those of our guests as we go through, and we're very excited right now for our next segment. I'm Greg Nibbler, and here joining me right now is Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor. Hello, Drew.
How's it going?
Doing well. Drew and I decided to basically almost match in shirts, so we'll say that. Let's just get that out there right out of the way. But let's go on from there because we are very excited about our next guest. So I want to say this. Our next guest is an author, is a preeminent digital theorist. You've written for numerous publications, including the New York Times, The Guardian, and Digital Trends. And you're the author of this new book, Team Human. It's Douglas Rushkoff. Thank you, Douglas.
Hey, good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. This book is fascinating, and I wanted to start off just kind of referencing part of what it says here on the cover of this book, and maybe have you kind of walk through that with us. And so the book is called Team Human. And right here on the front, it says, "It's time to remake society together, not as individual players, but as the team we actually are." So maybe we'll just start off with that. What does that mean, and what is Team Human?
I mean, I guess the gist of it is that those of us who were around for the emergence of digital technology and the beginning of the net, we thought it was going to connect the world in all sorts of new ways and, make the Gaia hypothesis come true and wire up the global brain and create new levels of coordination and collaboration. But because these platforms had to make so much money, because they were completely unaware of the operating system that was actually underneath them all this time, which is just extractive corporate capitalism, these potentially connecting technologies were pivoted into the sort of most alienating, isolating, loneliness-creating technologies and algorithms known to man and woman. And so what I'm trying to do is to say, no, we can actually use this stuff to reconnect to one another. It's not too late.
So the Team Human side, that's kind of taking it away from that, what's the opposite?
In a way, well, the opposite. I mean, when I came up with the idea of Team Human, I was on a panel with a famous singularitan. One of these folks who believes that once the moment that technology is smarter than people, that we should just pass the evolutionary torch to our successors.
Oh, just give up?
Accept our obsolescence and go extinct gracefully.
Wow.
And I said, no, humans deserve a place in the digital future. We're weird. We're strange and wonderful. We can stay in liminal places and all.
Yeah.
And let's go. And he said, oh, Rushkoff, you're just saying that because you're a human. Like it was hubris.
How down to your robot?
And that's when I said, okay, fine. I'm on Team Human. I'm going to argue for human beings and human life and human weirdness.
I like it.
I'm all for it. I'm on your team. So you argue in the book that technology has kind of been turned against us. How exactly is that happening? Can you point out some specific examples?
Yeah, I mean, an easy one. I mean, the moment I can point to the moment it happens is where any of these companies. It's when Twitter says, "Oh, we're making $2 billion a year off a 140-character messaging app." It's actually kind of cool. And then the investors say, "Well, actually, you need to earn 100 times that much within the next 5 years. Figure it out." So then what are they going to do? They've got to figure out a way to make this technology not just useful to humans, but somehow it's got to be able to extract more money from the marketplaces or from the people that it's interacting with. So we've ended up with this reversal where we are no longer using our technology, but our technology is using us. So take Facebook. Like what's really happening there is Facebook is using data from our past to put us into statistical buckets and then try to determine with maybe 80% accuracy what we're going to do, and then send us as much messaging as possible to get that 80% accuracy up to 90 or 95%. So what they want to do is reduce that 20% of humans who are going to do something weird or original or creative or outside their statistical bucket and get that down to 10% or 5%. So what's the function of technology is to really dehumanize us, to make us more predictable so we could be bet on more effectively by the stock market.
But it doesn't always start out that way, right? Like
Never starts out that way.
It just kind of morphs into that.
Well, it kind of morphs, right? And it feels like it's just morphing, like, oh, that's just the way it always goes. The reason it goes that way is because the kids, and yes, they're kids, I'm old, but they are kids, the 18, 19, 20-year-old founders of these companies who drop out of school before they've taken politics or ethics or anthropology and go listen to a venture capitalist who's just given them $10 million and say, your company's now worth $100 million. They don't understand that there's another way to do business, that you could create and I know it sounds preposterous, but you could create a sustainable digital business, one where if you don't take so much money and don't go to a $1 zillion valuation, you could actually sell the thing that you're doing rather than selling your stock.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, it's just it's rough. I mean, the best place to get the message of my book is like is the Silicon Valley, the TV show, where they make it as if it's a joke, but no, that's real. That's pretty much documentary.
They think that they're coming up with something that's going to help everybody out, but then it's the business side that just kind of takes over to all of that.
Yeah.
So what's the counteraction to that? Like how do you develop a company that doesn't go into that?
I mean, the easiest way is take as little money as possible at the lowest possible valuation. And I know that's counterintuitive because people think I want my company to be worth more, the most possible. But the minute I realized that was when I saw Evan Williams, the founder of Twitter. I saw him on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. And I knew him when he was young and looking for $300 here or there, to keep Blogger alive.
Yeah.
I saw him on the cover of the Wall Street Journal with the number 4.6 billion under his face, which is how much they made the morning of the IPO, how much he made. And I thought, this guy is screwed. How's he going to make 100x on 4.6 billion on a 140-character messaging app?
Right.
Impossible. So all they really have to do is to develop technology that way is take less money and then look at the orientation of your technology. Are you building a technology that's designed to control human behavior or to promote anything, to promote human autonomy? And it's pretty easy to tell when you're programming something which side of that equation you're on.
Which one you end up with. How do you feel the government plays a role in that?
I would love for the government to play a role in it.
Yeah.
But I'd love there to be a government. I mean, government is cool. It is. And we didn't realize that in the early 90s. The lyricist for the Grateful Dead, this guy John Barlow, who we all respected in the kind of cyberpunk counterculture, he wrote this manifesto for Wired magazine, which should have been the Dead giveaway, called A Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace. And he said, governments of the world beware, we don't need you, we are an independent zone, we can govern ourselves, and get away. And at the time we hated government. They had just done this thing called Operation Sun Devil, where they raided the homes of little hacker kids for just trying to break into stuff. I mean, it sounds bad, but at the time it was just play. And they did the Computer Decency Act, where they were like clamping down on website content. So we really saw government as the big bad guys that were going to keep the net from being what it could be. But by getting rid of government, we ended up just creating free zone for corporations to grow. It became this unregulated, crazy space, and it's really hard to back off from that now. But yeah, in Europe, they've got some government regulation. It looks like Germany wants to make Facebook like illegal, and that's it. If there were a functioning government, I'd love to see, regulation, sure,
Yeah.
But until then, it's going to just be more about, I'm looking at it less in terms of technology being this problem than how do we enhance human resilience? How do we increase our own sort of cultural immune system so that we don't fall into these traps?
Kind of learn from our problems, learn from our past.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things you kind of talk about. You go through the history of how, all of our technologies that we've developed have kind of been slowly turned against us. It started with language and then books and then the internet. And then you get into AI.
Right.
And you kind of issue these warnings against AI, because it's one of these things that we're still kind of building. What should we be worried about in terms of AI?
I mean, well, first off, AI is a lot stupider than people think. You know what I mean? You look at machine learning programs and look at it's like 3-4 lines of code. The real danger of AI is not how complicated it is, but how oversimplified it is. So then if you let a very oversimplified set of rules dictate how you behave, how you treat your kids, how your society is organized, you're going to end up in one version or another of fascism. It's just not going to be pretty. So I'm not afraid of its complexity, but when people start talking about AI, they're passing the Turing test and all, and I keep thinking it's not going to be a reflection of how smart AI's gotten, but how stupid we've gotten. So it's really about how are you integrating this stuff into the flow of your life? Are you using your technology to nudge you when you're supposed to like hug your kid or kiss your wife or think?
Yeah.
And if you are, then, oh, come on, just get off it. You can have an alarm clock in the morning, but even then, why do you have an alarm clock in the morning? It's so that you conform with friggin', some employment landscape, which is invented in the 1300s to keep you from having your own business. I mean, employment itself, jobs, selling your time. Once you start to interrogate what you're using technology to reinforce, you can start going, well, wait a minute, I don't know if I want any of this.
That is a lot to think about, actually, the way that you're presenting this, and that's why I'm sure why you wrote this book.
Manifesto.
So manifest, yeah, that's what it said. It's your manifesto.
Dust jacket free.
Team Human, it is dust jacket free. Team Human. So where can people pick up this book? How can they get it?
You can pick it up anywhere.
Anywhere.
If you're right here, you can pick it up. But yeah, take it, buy it, take it, steal it. It's all fine. Bookstores, libraries, online. We're here. Go to Powell's. And are people from Portland watching this?
I'm sure there's some people from Portland watching
I'm going to be at Powell's tonight and Bunk Bar tomorrow night. We'll have books there. So
nice.
Yeah, anywhere.
Fantastic. Well, yes, pick up a copy of Team Human. I'll say I am definitely on Team Human. I will not bow down to our robot overlords. But this is what you can read right here. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. And for everybody watching live, we continue on with the show. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be coming right back with Persia to talk about gaming. And us all while we're broadcasting live across all these different platforms. So drop in your comments and questions. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in across our many different platforms. We're live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all the tech headlines and interviews that you can handle for an hour. And as I said, we're live, so we can definitely take your comments and questions as we go through. And we're very excited to bring on our next guest. If you're a fan of esports, and in particular, the fighting game community, then you definitely know who we're going to be bringing on right now, because you might know her by the name Persia. But it's Stephanie. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And man, I love your guys' show and all your videos. I was just watching the video in the break. I'm like, these are so good.
Samantha, thank you so much for joining us. I even got nervous there at the beginning because we're live and I'm so excited to talk to you. So Samantha, let's talk about this. Let's kind of explain what the fighting game community is and then maybe go back and find out how you got involved in all this.
Yeah, I mean, the fighting game community, or the FGC, is, home to a lot of people I know. Is basically home to me. But if you are familiar with Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, Skullgirls, there's so many different fighting games, and there's more and more coming out each and every year. So our community is definitely growing rapidly. I feel like we're getting a lot more attention on us, and we're really starting to kind of rise the ranks in this world of esports, you could say. And it's really nice to see, especially since I didn't really come into the fighting game community until about 2009, but there were people, part of this community years and years and years before that, kind of setting the foundation for all of us now. So, being able to watch it grow and seeing it get to where it is now has been pretty exciting. And, with that growth, I feel like some of the growing pains are making sure that the people in the community who have been here are also helping the new people coming into our scene, and, kind of just paving the way for everybody else. It's a constant cycle of just trying to do better for the community, and helping fighting games get on the map, and helping people in our community get the recognition they deserve.
I think that's great. I mean, because like you said, you've been in it since 2009. There were people before you. Did you have some people that kind of helped guide you once you jumped into it?
Definitely. When I first joined, because I had been playing first-person shooters for many, many years before that, and, just games in general of my family growing up. But it wasn't until I really joined the FGC when I felt like I could turn games into a career. I'd been competing a lot in games like Halo and stuff like that, and that was just for pure competition. When I switched over to fighting games, same thing, pure competition, but I started to see different avenues, and I started to see other things that I was really passionate about, and, the idea of turning that into a career was really exciting. But it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have such great help and great friends like when I first came into FGC, and I got to learn from some of the best players in our community. I was really fortunate to be able to play a lot of games. I was in New York City. I got to experience CF, Chinatown Fair, shortly before it closed down. So I'm like really thankful that I at least got to experience a little bit of that. But I wish like I had been around earlier. But those people still kind of kept that feeling alive. They passed down their knowledge to me, Sanford Kelly and Ives and like a lot of the people that were in Empire Arcadia, which was the team that I joined when I first joined FGC. And if it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't be where I am now. So I kind of hold those values really close to my heart, because community is everything. And if you're not a welcoming community, you're never going to grow, and you're never going to, get more people involved and get more people on board with your movement,
I think that's a great philosophy. I mean, because it's certainly growing tremendously right now. I mean, esports in general, but even the fighting game community, everything's growing as far as just that idea of competition and this being broadcast, and you're a commentator on it, and keeping that kind of in mind and just going forward. As he said, bringing other people in. You've got this other thing that you have, which is the XO Academy, and maybe we can walk through what that is.
Well, the XO Academy, I'm so proud to finally be able to get this initiative off the ground. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. But in short, it's a 4-week training program in which we take players, dedicated fighting game women who want to take their name and their game to the next level. We pair them up with a hand-picked coach. I've been in the community for a while. I'm able to look at their gameplay, see what they need help with, and find the perfect coach for them. I'm not just looking for great players. I'm looking for compatible coaches. On top of gameplay, I'm also putting them through special skills training, where we teach them media training. We teach them marketing and branding. We teach them, if they're interested in commentary, we link them up with our commentary specialists. We have people covering each base for these girls, helping them not only get better in the game, but making them better players and better people for esports, and giving them opportunities that they can take away from the program once it's done, and maybe secure a sponsor for themselves and keep the path going. I don't really look at the program as, a team. I look at it like a platform. I want these women to come get this experience, and, they're maybe right at the cusp of taking it to the next level, and they just need that little boost, and that's what we're here for. So that when they step away from our program, they're not only well-rounded people, players, individuals, but they're prepared and they're confident, and they're not going to let this industry walk all over them. So
that's really cool. That's really cool. Congratulations on setting that up. I mean, I think that's fantastic, because, I mean, that's such a wide range of different things, even what you just said, as far as where they can get training. Because I imagine there's, say somebody is good enough, they're playing a lot, maybe they want to go to that next level, but figuring out how to do that has got to be crazy hard. I mean, I would have no idea how somebody would break into that industry. And it sounds like you're just kind of giving a blueprint for whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I look at it a lot like, something I really would have wanted when I first joined. And I feel like this is pretty close to my experience, but then plus some, which is what I really want, because I want there to be more. And there's a lot of underlying things that I feel like becomes the demise of a lot of really good players in our community. And you might think it's common sense things, but it's really not, such as carrying yourself well. On social media, it's such a slippery slope, right? And then, even down to physical well-being. I do have a personal trainer, Kate McGee. She's done amazing work within our community, helped so many people, and to just have her on the team, meeting with our girls, giving them routines to stretch their hands, keep their bodies healthy while they're also getting their mind healthy. Like, it's just such like a great mix of everything. And one of my most proud things about the academy is that I am trying to make sure that these women are staying healthy, because in this industry, it can be so easy to fall into unhealthy mindsets and, bad habits and stuff like that, just out of stress or out of, that hunger and passion and want to do something so well. And, maybe feeling like you're letting yourself down. I want to take away that stress. I want to give them something better, mentally and physically. So I feel like that's what's happening, and it's awesome, and it's all going well, so I'm excited.
That is so exciting. I mean, you can tell how excited you are by this. I mean, just the passion and energy is shining through on that. But I mean, it's really, really cool what you're doing. How does somebody get involved with the XO Academy? What's the easiest, what's the first step they should take?
Well, if you are a competitor, we have an application. And, this is a small initiative, but I'm trying my very best to help it grow and make it bigger. But right now we can accept about 2 girls per wave, which each wave leads up to a major tournament. So our first wave just started this week, and that's going to lead up to final round. We got wave 2, which already is filled with the 2 slots leading up to Combo Breaker, and then we have wave 3 leading up to CEO. So you see the pattern there in terms of waves, but if you're interested in being selected, then you do have to go through the application process, fill out the application. You can find the application link on our Patreon, and I go through each application. I try to find out who can I find as a coach that's appropriate. So a lot of things go into actually being accepted, and although it may be hard to think of it as, oh, I didn't get selected, so I'm not picked. Sometimes it's, I didn't select this person yet because I haven't found the right coach yet. Like, I might want to bring someone in, but I'm not going to bring you in unless I am 100% confident in who I'm putting you with, and I know it's going to be a compatible matchup and things like that. So a lot of different things go into it, and my first priority is making sure every player that goes through this program, that it's a flawless victory.
Right?
That's really all I have to say
Nice.
about that. But if you want to support the Academy, we do have EXO t-shirts that are available at nexthitones.com. We also have our Patreon, in which we're releasing all of our content on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/EXOacademy. You can subscribe to one of our 4 tiers, and you get access to different things as the tiers get higher. So it really helps a lot when people support the Patreon, because once we get that going, we have the opportunity to bring more girls per wave. Instead of 2, we could have 3 or 4 maybe. That would be the dream. But, baby steps, baby steps.
Hey, you got to
But
start
if you do
somewhere.
want to support, exactly. If you do want to support and you do want to help this growth, then just go ahead and subscribe. And we have all of our content releasing now. Wave 1 just started this Monday. We already have our session with Romanova and DeKill Sage, and our session with Pichon and Dominion up right now. So, there's content rolling, and, there's really going to be content multiple times a week.
Fantastic.
Probably from now until forever, because the waves are rolling now. So,
And that's
I
what
was
you
kind
want.
of anxious at first because we didn't really have content because we didn't start the wave yet. But that's out the window. Content's up. Please support. Go subscribe. It really helps.
EXO Academy, Samantha Hancock, thank you so much for joining us here today on this show. I'm really excited to see your success on this, and thanks for joining Digital Trends Live.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, there we go. So it's Samantha Hancock right here on Digital Trends Live. This is such a fun show, and we're broadcasting live to so many different platforms right now, taking your comments and questions. And I know a lot of people are already asking about the next segment, because we have 2 of the designers from Nike who are going to be in here to talk about the Adapt BB, the self-lacing shoes. We've got the shoes. The shoes will be here in studio. So we're going to take a quick break, and so get your comments, your questions ready to go for that, and then we'll be right back with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you tech headlines, interviews, and products all here in studio out of Portland for this segment of the show. I'm Greg Nibbler, and we are really excited now, and I've seen a lot of people commenting about this who are excited to have this next team in here right now. So we've got Jordan and Narissa from Nike. Jordan, Narissa, thank you so much for joining us. And we have right here in front of us the Adapt BB Nike self-lacing shoes.
You got it.
So maybe just to explain to everybody watching what your roles are with the team, and then we're going to walk through the shoes.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Narissa Chang. I was lead mechanical engineer for the Adapt BB product, working on the lace engine inside the shoe and then marrying the shoe with the rest of the product.
I'm Jordan Rice, the Senior Director of what we call the Smart Systems Engineering team. Our team is responsible for the conceptual engineering and then manufacturing and supply chain of our electronics products. So I lead that team, and we are the ones who have been working on this for the last 3 years.
Wow, 3 years you've been on this one. Yeah. So is that from the original HyperAdapt? Did you start with that one?
Yeah.
Kind of build from there?
Right around that time, we were asked to take a look at how we would apply this sort of a technology to a performance product.
Yeah.
And so we started with basketball. It's our most challenging performance fit environment. You have the most elite athletes, the most physical athletes, up and down, lateral, jumping. It's just an extreme environment for this kind of a product. So we started there, ground up redesign and engineering, and this is where we landed.
So let's talk about the mechanics behind this. Sure. Let's walk through the entire shoe for anybody who's not familiar with this. This is the first time I'm seeing them actually in person. Yeah. They're very nice looking, but let's talk about how, I guess, everything from, the ground up.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the mechanical components?
Yeah, sure. So simply, like, our team got together and wanted to make a really modular system because we wanted to ensure that the product was robust to water, dust, impact.
Right.
From
sweat.
Sweat, exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, these are electronics in the shoe. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So if you think about like kind of miniaturizing a phone and putting it underfoot, that was kind of our goal. And then to kind of marry that with your traditional footwear making process. Those are kind of the two systems we had to put together. So we've got our modular lace engine underfoot within the shoe with a cabling system that is kind of shrouded underneath this knit layer. And then that all is just very simply assembled. We had a really big focus on manufacturability as well as reliability.
Right. So the actual hardware is down here in this section of the shoe, within the sole, which I imagine would be a challenge, especially since you're stomping on it constantly. I mean, literally, you're jumping up and down on the mechanics, and it has to survive that.
Absolutely.
That had to be a tremendous challenge.
Yeah, I think the entire engine sits right here under the midsole, and we have a full closed loop control system. So there's a bunch of electronics in there that are actually relatively common in your mobile phones or smartwatches.
Okay.
Connectivity, 3 processors, and a sensor suite underfoot. So that's all housed in one modular drop-in component, and that is assembled underfoot. And we've tested it for hours and hours on end to make sure that we have the kind of durability and performance for the elite athlete all the way down out of these products. So.
And I know Jason Tatum, is wearing these?
Jason Tatum, Kyle Kuzma, there's been a number of other NBA athletes who've worn them on court. We just had a large number of the kind of rising stars at the NBA game, or the NBA Rising Stars game at All-Star, who were in the product. And they've been played since we announced it in the middle of January.
So, you went through all of this process. You said you went through all the testing. So let's talk about how it actually works. Like when I put this on, when somebody wears this, how does it work?
Yeah. So when you put your foot in, there's an option to turn on what we call a foot presence detection or an auto lace feature. You can turn that on or off. Because this is a unique product. There's no laces. There's just a cabling system that's integrated into the product. You can basically pull this back and pop your foot right in. Right. It's very unique, almost like a slip-on at this point. Once you're in the product, on the side there's a loosen and a tighten button. So this tightens, this loosens. You have an app that connects to it. This is a connected app right here. You'll notice that I have the option here to change my color. So what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue? Oh, we're already in blue. You have to pick
go
your
green.
favorite color.
Let's go
All right,
green.
All right. So this is the Jason Tatum color. The green for the Boston Celtics. If you can pick that up, we can do red and a few other options there as well. Once you're in it, you have the opportunity or the ability to tighten here by just dragging these up and down in the app to tighten and loosen. You have the ability to
That is the app right there. I thought
this
that was
is
the
the
backdrop.
app.
Yeah.
No. This is the app. This button right here will auto unlace, and then this shows you your battery status. Battery life on these is about 10 to 14 days or more. Most people are getting more than that. 10 to 14 assumes everyday usage.
Okay.
So there's a full
That's
cable.
a good solid battery then.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a wireless charging pad, so when you do need to charge, you just do that. It charges, takes 2 to 3 hours. Will certainly be fully charged in 4 hours, depending on how low they are. And most people will just do that overnight, and then you got a couple weeks of battery life out of it. Inside the shoe is like Narissa mentioned, is a full cabling system underneath this knit shroud. It starts down here at the toe box, actually runs all the way up to the collar. It actually also loops back into the back heel cup.
So it pulls in the heel as well.
You got it, which is super unique from a footwear perspective. That design in particular is really dialed towards basketball, where performance fit is super important. So we have this kind of full system lockdown that you get out of this. And it's one of the best performing basketball shoes we've ever made at Nike.
So, I mean, it's amazing just how much mechanics go behind this. Because like you said, you're marrying like phone technology into actual shoe technology and how this all works. And I think we've got some comments. Let's see. Raymond says, got to say the shoe is good looking. Yeah, Raymond, you are right. I will say it's good looking. And Raymond actually, I think, almost commented that I should try them on. I might try them on afterward, but I don't want to put our production crew through that. Standing on the table right now, nobody wants to see that. But okay, so talking about this, how complicated this is, and I got to bring it up because it's something that's in the news right now. I mean, there's so much that has to go into this.
Yeah.
And with the app, I know there was an issue with the Android app, so some of the users are having that. So what's kind of going on there, and maybe where we're going to solve that?
Yeah, we acknowledge that there's an isolated issue that some Android consumers are having issues with connectivity. The shoe still functions, the tighten loosen buttons, and the ability to even set a mode on the shoe by holding both buttons. So all of that still functions, but we have some isolated connectivity issues we're working really hard on a solve that we'll have soon for the consumers.
Cool. So there's an update in the works for that stuff.
We're working on it.
Cool. Yep. Just figured I'd ask about that.
We hear them as well. We would
I'm sure
encourage
you
them to get in touch with our consumer services. You've got all the information on how to you can work around it today. And our consumer services and our online help are both prepared and ready to have a conversation to help people. So.
Fantastic. Well, so that's the app connectivity. You can do it on your own right here with these two, and these are designed for basketball. Where do you go from here? Like, what are the next steps? I mean, are these going to be? I mean, Nike covers so many different kinds of shoe wear. Yeah. Where do you want to go with it?
Yeah, Narissa and the team really looked at this as a platform. Maybe you want to comment on that.
Yeah, totally. So with the 1.0, we look to just really continue that and continue evolving the product. We feel really good we've launched this, but our job is not done yet. We definitely have an eye towards the future. And again, as Jordan mentioned, this is a platform. We're really excited to think about all the future things we can do to make this an even higher performing shoe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sticking within the basketball category or going beyond that?
Well, it's called the Adapt BB. BB stands for basketball. There could be Adapt other things as well. And we really want to look at this platform as something that not only is a performance advantage and a comfort advantage, but also as a connected platform that's firmware updatable. And our goal as we take this forward is to explore what that can mean for the consumers in our other categories and how that connectivity can bring really interesting ties between service and product together.
Right. What was one of the, I'm sure there's a lot of challenges. I mean, this is an incredible project, but what was one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome?
If I can steal this one. Just reliability. Like our whole engineering team and our smart systems team is really focused. We're just very data oriented. And so number one is quality and making sure that this product can withstand the test of an actual game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had to be
250-pound athlete jumping up and down on it. Yeah, that's a lot.
Multiple
of
times.
stress.
Yeah, exactly. One of our most aggressive tests is a wet impulse test, where we try and simulate 80 jumps a game, 5 games a week, to simulate a full year of play. So we're just really pounding on our device, which is,
Did you take these
in
home?
the presence? No, we built automated tests and we did wear tests, and the goal is to correlate the two together. So we have an amazingly aggressive suite of tests.
Absolutely. So A, it's like coming up with a custom suite of tests because this is a new technology. We have to be creative around that. B, making sure our test fixtures themselves are reliable. And then number 3, ultimately, is making sure the product is reliable itself. And then correlating, just being able to collect the data quickly in a meaningful way to then tie that to actual real-world testing to make sure we're testing appropriately. So it's complex, but really the end goal is simple, right?
Right. Yeah.
And our team's goal when we set out is always to make the electronics outlast what they're in, right?
Yeah.
Because the consumer has an expectation of this product as a piece of footwear first, and then the connected nature of what we add to this to extend this product, we want that to be something that outlasts what it's housed in. So that's where Narissa and team start from when we set our goals for durability and when we build out our testing. That's super punishing on the electronics, but what it allows us to do is understand through that entire period of development how things break and fail so that we can fix them, so that when we're done, we really understand all of the weak points of the design and we've addressed them.
I think it's a really exciting new category, just how much electronics are being incorporated into these kinds of products.
Yeah.
Something that are normally, you wouldn't really think of it in that way. We have Fitbit and stuff like that, or I'm sure Nike Plus and all those kinds of things. But actually having it in the product like this is a really exciting category.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We wanted to physically integrate it into the product to make it just one simple system. We also, there is a connected component to this, and I think it's great that we're adding electronics to things, but we also are really cognizant of consumer data privacy. We don't sell your data. Anything you share is opt-in, and we're really trying to be cognizant of that desire for most of our consumers.
I do have a question here that's coming through. Our social media director, Riley, is insisting that I ask this.
Awesome.
So I'm just calling him out with it right now on camera. So he wanted to know, because he is a big fan.
Yeah.
He said, I'm assuming the self-tying tech in the HyperAdapt BBs are a lighter, different version of the same tech that were in the Nike Mag. Is that true?
So the Adapt BB here is a ground-up redesign of the previous self-lacing technologies that we had in the Mag and the HyperAdapt.
So it's taking that, just starting from the ground up, redoing it.
It's smaller, it's lighter, it's more cost-effective, it's more modular and manufacturable. So we actually dropped the price between the HyperAdapt 1 and this by over half through this whole redesign process. And that's something we continue to strive for as we move this platform forward.
Do you think there will be another version of the Mag that comes out using this technology?
I can't comment on that. I honestly don't know. So I can't give you any insight into
totally
when to expect it.
Had to ask.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah.
But this is so much fun. It's so fantastic and just a really cool. Where do you see this going? I know you can't say any specific product or anything like that, but I mean, do you see this kind of, I guess marrying of electronics and footwear and athletic wear happening more across different product lines, or?
Yeah, when we added the electronics, we really wanted to make sure that everything we added made the product better and more performant. Right? We start through that lens of performance. So yeah, I think we will continue on this platform and other platforms that we have in development to try to bring adaptive technologies to the consumer, and then continue to move that forward with new technologies like connectivity and machine learning and things like that. Those are our priorities as a team. And I think Narissa and team took that lens as a platform and how this will migrate to other product and categories.
Absolutely. I think because the project took us 3 years, the whole way as you're seeing failures happen and you're just trying to engineer new improvements.
Right.
Our team's already really excited. We have a lot of great ideas that we wish we could share with you. But we've got a lot of ideas and things we want to improve already. We're excited to just see where we can take this.
Very exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming in here to talk about this. I'm not going to lie, after this broadcast is done, I'm going to try this on.
Awesome.
So maybe we'll film a little video of that. But yeah, Jordan, Narissa, thank you so much.
Great.
Yeah, very cool. Congratulations on all of this. And where is the best people for people to pick these up? I mean, it's Nike, I'm sure it's everywhere, but where would you suggest?
So they were available online. I believe they're sold through there. They're available at a number of our retail outlets, and you can find out locally if they're available there, and there'll be more available in the future.
Fantastic. All right. Well, hey, everybody watching, thank you. This is Digital Trends Live, and we are live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been on the show already. It's been an hour, and gosh, we've covered, Julian Chikatu was in here with the brand new Samsung S10. You can read about his review, everything that happened at that Samsung event, all at digitaltrends.com. We had Douglas Rushkoff in here talking about his book, Team Human, and which side you're going to take and whether he's going to bow down to his robot overlords. He's a fascinating guy. I'm telling you, the book is really fun to read. We also had Persia in here, Samantha Hancock, talking about her project, Exo Academy, trying to encourage female gamers and trying to get into that fighting game community. Really cool project that she's got. And then we have Jordan and Narissa from Nike talking about the Adapt BB shoes, all here broadcasting live across our many different platforms, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn Live, where we're going to be now every day as well. So broadcasting live on LinkedIn, and of course at digitaltrends.com, where you can go catch up on all of the rest of the tech news. It's an exciting world. We have editors that are out there covering every aspect of it, and they will bring you all the up-to-date news that you ever possibly want, and that's at digitaltrends.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We are back tomorrow. We've got a whole other show for you. We're going to be back here live. We've got Brian Solis, we've got Rick Marshall, our editor, to talk about the Oscars, and in particular the special effects at the Oscars and how all that works. He's got some exclusive interviews for that, and that will be on tomorrow's show. So hit that subscribe button and hop back in here with us tomorrow. I'm Greg Nibbler. We'll see you with another episode of Digital Trends Live.